Hi guys, for today's tutorial we'll be going over embroidery stitches. I'll be going over two filling stitches that can be used in applique or on felt. The stitches that I'm going to be going over are the seeding stitch, which is here, and the French knot, which is here. So they're just the two stitches that we'll be going over today. So what you need in front of you are embroidery needles, thread, scissors to chop your thread, and maybe some fabric. I have Veline here, but you can use whatever you like. If you don't even have fabric, you could try with paper just to practice your stitches. It's just getting the hang of it. So they're your materials. So I've threaded my two needles. So I have orange thread in one for my seeding stitch and purple in the other. You can use whatever colour threads you want. So what we want to do is we'll just take one of those needles for now. So I'll just take my orange and I'll just tie a knot in it at the bottom. Just tying a knot at the bottom and pulling that through so that the thread doesn't go the whole way through the material. So first things first, I'm gonna line out. So I'm doing my seeding stitch first. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just create some vertical lines about 0.5 centimeters away from each other, because I think that this will work best when creating seeding stitches, as you want to have them even, like spacing apart. So we're just creating some little lines, drawing them down. And don't worry, you can use a pencil or you could use a crayon. You don't have to do this at all. It's just kind of if you wanted to make sure that you got perfect sizing in between. So what we're going to do, so to start the seeding stitch, we're going to go in from underneath. So we're going to try and come up. You can see this here, pulling the needle through. And so we're just left with the knot on the back with its little tail. And you can cut that tail if that's annoying you, so we can cut that there by scissors. Just brush that aside. So we've got our first thread, and we're just gonna, we can do it straight across to the second line, and we're pulling that through, right through like that, and then we're going back underneath on the same row that you've just gone under. Oops, sorry. Bit of camera malfunction there. So this is just your seeding stitch. So you're going in, you're going from under, and then you're just crossing it over, and then you're going from same side. So that's our first example of our first little seeding stitch. So there's not much of a gap between it. Usually you might have a little gap in between just so that people know it's two different lines. So we'll go again, and we'll go from the second line. I'll just try and talk you through it again. So we're bringing it up, say, I'm going to talk in terms of the lines. So on the second line, we're bringing it up, so it's coming up from our second line. And then this one, we're going to do a bit diagonal. So we're going to our third line. So we've got our first little diagonal line. So we're going back up from underneath on our third line, just under where you've come through. So you're going where you've just gone through, come out on the other side, you're just going back up underneath and pulling that through. You always want to make sure your threads are pulled tight so that you don't have any extra material from in behind. And then we're going back up to the second line underneath where we first started the stitch. And that's our second example of the seating stitch. So from behind, it just looks like two little dots. And then we could go up again, in through again, from behind, and we're going across. Again, we're going to do another kind of diagonal stitch. I think they look a bit nicer when they have a bit of angles to them. But these stitches can be used anywhere to create texture, like I've said before. And you can use them on any material that you can get your needle to. So they can be used on any fabric to create like filling in a gap, or just to create a pattern, or just to create some texture on your piece. So that's them there. They're kind of raised. So I'll show you an example of something that I've used the seating stitch on. So this is an example of where I've used the seating stitch. So I've used it to decorate an old pair of jeans, just to kind of give them a lease of new life. So I've just used this seating stitch along the pocket because I had a hole in the jeans. So here I've had like two little holes, and I used the satin stitch over and back to create like some texture and fill up the hole. And then we use the seating stitch with the same colours just to create some texture and pattern. So it's like, it can be used for anything. You can use it anywhere, and once you know how to do it, you'll always have it in your back pocket. So just to finish this knot, I'll just, oops, it must have gotten caught somewhere. Just pull that through. So we're just gonna take off the needle from the thread, and we're going to knot the end so that the stitch doesn't fall out. So we're just taking off the needle, and we're tying this in a knot. Just to make sure that the thread doesn't come loose and that it'll stay on. So we're just tying this in a knot. I don't know if my fingers are allowing you to see that. So we're just tying it in a little knot there. And then we're going to get our scissors and we can chop. So there's our examples of our seating stitches. Lovely. Okay, so